but an incident that went down last week on the Breakfast Club. They had Lil Nas X on, and they pretty much posed the question to him, what about all the people out there saying that you need to be accountable to the children? And he came out and pretty much said, fuck your children. It's a little bit more to the conversation. He kind of tried to backtrack, but he did, put that statement out there. So what's your thoughts on that, Lil Nas X, saying, look, I'm not, it's up to you to monitor what your children watch. That's what he pretty much said.
I got to go watch that, but it sounds like he said it all. I'm right? Like they have that old saying from Maya Angelou that says, when people show you who they are, you got to believe them.
Right.
So Lil Nas X is letting you know right there that he personally doesn't give a shit about your kids. He'll use your kids. Who knows? Maybe he'd even fuck your kids if he could. I don't know. But what I will say is that Lil Nas X is he's a puppet, right? If he wasn't there, the music industry would find somebody else. Lil Nas X is a manifestation. He's a representation of something much bigger. The bigger thing that he's representing is the fact that if you look at the history of Hollywood and the music industry, it's always been a pretty sick, debaucherous place. Mm-hmm. When you talk about pedophilia, when you talk about the drugs, when you talk about just the lifestyle that most people can't identify with, Hollywood's always been about that shit. And you go out to LA, you spend enough time out there, you start to run into things where you're like, I don't want to be a part of any of this, right? So Nas is not a guy who independently made himself famous or independently built his brand. Nas is just a guy who gets on stage and raps because some white man in the background told him what to do, right? And so as much as we might want to just get mad at him and assume he has some equity in what he's saying to the world, you got to realize that there's a machine behind him. And without that machine, there is no Lil Nas X. So I don't think we should just look at him. We should look at the machine. Don't look at the puppet. You pay attention to the puppet master. So Lil Nas X is part of a continuous process. It's an agenda where they tend to use Black people to represent ideas that are questionable and problematic, particularly when you talk about presenting them to children, right? The man in the dress I haven't to this day. I've seen Lil Nas X wear a dress to the what's it, that stupid thing that bullshit event. The Met Gala? Yeah, I've seen Lil Nas X wear a dress. I've seen Billy Porter wear a dress. Which white men were wearing dresses? I can't remember. I don't remember seeing any white men wearing dresses. I saw those two, right? Maybe there were. Maybe I missed them. But the point is to say that Black people are a vehicle and a vessel for certain ideas that they want to push for two reasons. One, because, just kind of going back to slavery, they kind of felt this need to kind of get Black people on board with whatever they're doing. But then also there's something magical about Black people where when we buy into something and we make something cool, it kind of makes it cool for everybody, and then I think the other piece of that is because Black people historically don't know who we are, because we're not taught who we are. We go to a white man school who teaches us how great white people are, and we just our goal is to just be down with them and fit in with them, right? So because we don't know who we are, we're easily influenced. So they're pretty much using all that in their advantage to push forward the ideas that they value. And I think that with Lil Nas X, one of the things that you have to be careful about is that he's been trained to use LGBT rights as cover for his behavior. Same thing. Lizzo uses, if you call her out for promoting obesity, or promoting buffoonery and minstrel shows, she'll say, "Oh, you're a sexist," or "Oh, you're fat shaming," or "Oh, you're slut shaming." All these are terms. Most of these terms invented left in order to counterattack or to provide cover for anything that they want to do. So as long as I can say anybody who disagrees with me is homophobic, I can go out and do any fucked up debaucherous shit that I want to do.